right, everybody. So, Jeremy Renner had a near death experience and he wants the world to know about it. So, what does that mean for us? What does that mean here on the channel on Midnight Mystery School? Well, let's first talk a little bit about who Jeremy Renner is. Jeremy Renner is an actor. You probably know him from the Avengers franchise. He plays Hawkeye in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And what's kind of cool about him is that I became aware of him through a great film called The Hurt Locker. So if you've ever seen The Hurt Locker, really good picture, check it out. Um, Plays an Iraq War, Afghan War veteran, bomb diffuser, military guy. So that's where I became aware of him. And so he's always kind of played these military guys, these tough guys, but with a little bit of a sensitive side. Hawkeye is not really much of a stretch acting wise compared to what he's done in the past. So a couple of years ago, I think at this point, he had a terrible accident with a snowplow. Something happened, snowplow fell on him, and he's had to have a tremendous amount of reconstructive work done all over his body to bring him back to some level of normalcy. He still lives with tremendous pain, and that is a little bit of old news. But he has recently started going and making the rounds in the last couple of months, talking about his near death experience, talking about how he actually died when he had that accident. And I think when a notable person, a celebrity, talks about their supernatural experience, their experience outside of what is typically accepted as the material world and crosses into the spiritual, it can often be difficult to rein that in and contextualize it. I remember, like, for example, Shirley MacLaine in the 1980s was really big about talking about past lives, things of that nature, and that left an indelible mark on that actress's legacy. A lot of times people excuse this stuff, as or dismiss this stuff as quackery or whatever else. Well, here I'm all about mind expansion. I'm all about covering these kinds of things for Mental. That's MNTL on Substack. Check out Mental on Substack, Mental, MNTL.substack.com for the rest of the newsletter. I think the community is up to 58,000 people now, so make sure to jump over there and check that out. And we cover all this different kinds of stuff because I think it's fascinating. I think that we live in an extraordinary world where our minds have to be open to all kinds of different possibilities. As an artist and a intellectual, I think that it does us a disservice to not explore the way that our subjective realities, the way that we perceive the world, influence our shared world. So, in that way, I think that what Jeremy Renner is doing is very, very cool. And today, somebody sent this to me. It's from CNN. And CNN has this great article kind of outlining everything that we were talking about Jeremy Renner. So, let's start here just kind of reading through this. We have Jeremy Renner almost died on New Year's Eve 2023 after being crushed by a snowplow near his Nevada home. He wasn't too happy when he was revived. Now, that's an interesting statement. I want to see what he actually says about it. During a recently posted appearance on SiriusXM's Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa, this is actually just one of several podcasts that he has used to platform this experience. It says, Renner told Ripa, "It's a great relief, is all I can say. It's a wonderful relief to be removed from your body. It is the most exhilarating peace you could ever feel. You don't see anything but what's in your mind's eye. You're the atoms of who you are, the DNA," he said. "Your spirit is. It's the highest adrenaline rush. But the peace that comes with it, it's magnificent. It's so magical, and I don't want to come back. I didn't want to come back. I remember, and I was brought back, and I was so pissed off." Goes on to say the Avengers star said he was gone for, I think, probably four. It doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 10, but I came back and I saw the eyeball again. I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm back," Renner said. "Saw my legs, and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna hurt later. I'm like, all right, let me continue to breathe. So he has a new book that he's publishing. It's called My Next Breath, a memoir. Says the reference to the 45 minutes he focused on breathing, so on and so forth. So he's talking about meditation, how meditation kind of brought him back from the brink of that experience. I'm also a big fan of meditation, connecting to nature, all that kind of stuff. Now, I do think that it's very brave of him to go out into the world with a memoir like that and to openly discuss his near death experience, because this kind of thing used to be the domain of like unsolved mysteries. You would really think that a lot of people who were into this stuff were mentally ill. We experience this kind of thing all the time. I mean, I think I've had experiences that I can't quite classify as being within the realm of the normal. The sort of slipping away of consciousness every night when we go to sleep, that way that you feel of like, is this what that euphoric sensation may feel like when you are passing away? Um, those are the kinds of thoughts that I think universally connect us, make us human, make us wonder about what is beyond, what is the meaning of life. All of the great philosophical questions are somehow or another tied back to what happens when we die. It's the primary focus of almost every world religion. You look at it and you go, this is a shared experience that we will all inevitably face, and we'd like some answers and closure about it. And I think the message that he has about peace and acceptance and feeling as if a great weight had been lifted is a beautiful thing. And whether it's just personal to him, again, a lot of near death experiences talk about the similar kinds of experiences and sensations of like asphyxiation, the sort of release of euphoric chemicals that help ease the process at end of life, will give you that sense of ecstasy that he discusses here. He doesn't, interestingly, discuss any kind of life review, which you see a lot in these near-death experience stories, where you're confronted by scenes and people who may have passed away, reliving them. He doesn't talk about being visited by other kinds of um, ethereal entities, angels, whatever his religion may be. It's just this very beautiful, peaceful, calm way of looking at the end of life process, and whether that means that what he experienced was just the natural process of dying, or he transcended into a state of consciousness that we can consider the collective unconscious, or this sort of shared dream state that is talked about in many world cultures. That's debatable. But what is hard truth about his memoir and what he's talking about is that it paints a very comforting picture for people who may have a fear of the natural process of dying. That doesn't mean that anybody should, you know, act on kind of any impulses that would be dangerous to yourself or others. But what it does mean is that if you are somebody who is sick or has a family member who's sick or elderly or whatever, I think you should check out these interviews that he's done and maybe try to find a little bit of comfort in what he has expressed. So again, I'm Decker, the Phantom Astronaut. Make sure to follow the platform. Make sure to follow Mental on Substack. Join the mailing list. Subscribe here for free. Also, make sure to follow all the different platforms, because there's kinds of content that are on everything that's a little bit here, there, and the other place, podcasts, things of that nature. So check it out. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you out there.